Recently, I've been exploring Georgia, a beautiful country in the Caucasus with so much history and charm. There is a lot to discover here. One day, I decided to visit the old German colonies in this region. I learned that many Germans migrated to the Caucasus in the first half of the 19th century. They were farmers who came to develop the land in Georgia. Good morning. Today is a Saturday morning here in Bolnisi, and I'm going on a tour to see German colonies in Georgia. So yeah, that's really exciting. I have no idea what we're gonna see today, but I will show you. The first place we visited was Elizabethtal, which is now called Asureti in Georgian. The Germans took life seriously and planned everything carefully. The village quickly became prosperous. There were workshops, a winery, and a church. They even had a greenhouse and a summer theater. The houses were built in the traditional German half-timbered style. So before the Second World War, all the Germans were sent to Kazakhstan from here. Literally, like in a couple of days, they packed everything and they were gone. After that, this village was abandoned for a very long time. And now people are living here. You can still see these old German buildings. Some of them are still not renovated because not all people who live here have money to do that. Really interesting. Now there are no Germans here. I think maybe one German person is living here. We visited one of the houses that had been beautifully renovated by a local man. He tried to keep the original German atmosphere alive, and stepping inside felt like being transported to another time. It was fascinating to see something so German in the middle of Georgia. And of course, like in every Georgian household, they make wine there. It's an interesting place. It's not very touristy, but some local people living in this village are trying to attract more and more tourists by renovating these old German houses and making them into museums and hotels. Well, at least there is one hotel like this here. Look at this. That's creepy. One unique place in the village is the old German cemetery. It's almost abandoned now. The tombstones are of an unusual shape and stand among dense bushes. So we've come to have lunch in this village. There is this cafe, which is like probably the only cafe in this village. And they serve some German dishes and Georgian dishes. I find this village fascinating, and the history is kind of sad that, you know, the German people who came here in the 19th century, they were working so hard to make this village really beautiful. I saw the historical photos and it really looked amazing and really cozy, but then one day they just had to leave. And difficult to imagine how it all was. By chance, the day we visited, the village was preparing for Oktoberfest. The tavern was all decorated, and I even got to try some local cuisine, strudel and goulash. Both were so delicious. On the way to the next colony, we stopped at the oldest church in Georgia. It is called Bolnisi Sioni, and it was built between 478 and 493 AD. Not only it is the oldest building in the country, but its facade also has inscriptions that are some of the first examples of Georgian script. We've come to a town in Georgia. It's called Bolnisi. It used to be also a German colony, and it was pretty big because about 400 or 500 German families came here. There used to be this big German church, but during the Soviet times they destroyed the tower of the church and it's become a sports center, and now it's still a sports center. But you can still feel this German vibe in this city, but still, of course, now Georgian people are living here. You can see the Georgian influence, obviously. We have been to this ancient cathedral just now. It's next to this town, and it's actually the oldest Georgian cathedral, which is amazing. So now we're gonna walk around this town, explore it a little bit, learn about its history, and then we will go to some house to try local wine, because they make some special wine using German technologies. So that's kind of interesting. In the 19th century, the town was called Yekaterinenfeld, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Today you can still find several old German houses in Bolnisi. Their architecture is a mix of Georgian and German styles, with traditional Georgian balconies blending beautifully with the half-timber designs. So these are historical houses, but the balconies are the typical Georgian ones. Interesting. There is so much to explore in Georgia. Even the German villages, it's such an interesting topic. I'm really glad that I'm doing it right now. And our tour guide told us that German people, of course, come here to learn about their ancestors. Our final stop was one of the main attractions of the town, the German-Georgian Wine House. This house, built in 1915, once belonged to Emanuel Walker, a German writer and winemaker. It has recently been restored to support local winemakers and host wine events. We were so lucky to enjoy a traditional Georgian dinner there. Let me tell you, the food was just amazing, and everything looked so beautiful. Also, we tried some local wines, of course.
Валкеру, он сейчас в небесах и смотрит на нас и радуется его душа. Спасибо тебе, Валкер. Dankeschön. Лип-липа это кацители из Asureti, которые делают по методам швабов, как вот я рассказывал. Потому оно не квеври. Легкое, легкое, потому что
Our day in German villages is over, and I've really enjoyed it. It was so nice. And we've just had this dinner in this beautiful place next to the fruit trees, and we had some local wine produced according to the German techniques that people used in the past, next to this German house here. Yeah, it's been really nice. We were talking about traveling, life, Georgia. It's such a beautiful region. I've really enjoyed traveling here. These little tiny villages with these German houses are so aesthetic and interesting. It's really interesting to learn about this life here in the past, and also it's kind of sad that those people who contributed so much to the development of this region had to leave, but still it's nice that some heritage is left. For example, the way they produced wine. Now they're giving some presentation about, I think, compost. So they have this cooperation between this winery and the compost company. So they take the grape skins left from winemaking and make compost. And now they're having this party with drinking wine and live music. It's so good. Yeah, I've really enjoyed exploring this part of Georgia. It seems like there is so much to see in this country. Что это? О, вау. Маглоба. Это сапирави?
Нет, это супрули. Супрули это не для вина.
Oh, спасибо. I was just given a bunch of grapes. Okay. For the road back.